tough man. But my daddy, he was an alcoholic.
And a mean one.
And a mean one. He was mean when he was sober. And you never done nothing right. I don't know if you ever worked in the garden much or not, but we always raised a big, but at least I did, a big potato patch and picking various worms off. And he better not go along behind you and find one on there. Stuff like that. Crazy stuff. To me, it was crazy. You wasn't supposed to hunt and fish on a meadow farm.
Uh-huh.
But of course, he knew if we did. He caught us many times. And but he never done nothing about it.
But Miss Taylor never found out, right?
Oh yeah, he rode all over that farm in the Jeep, and he'd catch us hunting and fishing. And he tells us, don't do it, to go home, and we tell him, yes sir. Of course, as soon as we got outside, we were hunting and fishing again, doing whatever we were doing. I'm not an educated man. I went through the 5th grade. I ran away from home when I was real young. That's why I didn't go to school. And of course, I stayed with Mr. Rollins too, you know, and couldn't go to school and stay with him. Well, he wasn't going to pay me to go to school anyway.
What'd you do for Mr. Rollins?
Cut wood, saw wood.
Firewood?
Firewood, yeah.
And split it too, right?
Yeah.
All by hand.
All by hand. Well, they had a cutoff saw, you know.
Big circular saw?
Right.
That ran off a belt off the tractor?
Right. And I threw the wood back. That's what was my job.
You got all 10 of your fingers.
Yes. Now, I was smart in that way. I wasn't smart no other way, but I was that way. No, I was average, dumb kid.
So after you worked for Mr. Rollins, where did you work next?
I worked for Jimmy Carpenter. He had a dairy farm. Went up and got the cows in, milked them, and they made chocolate milk, and we delivered that. And I lived with him in his house, you know. His mama owned the house, of course. She could done the cooking, and I stayed there a couple of years, and I got something better.
So they took care of you?
Oh yeah, real good. I worked for Henry Gilbert, and I worked for Taylor Graston. I made pallets by hand for 10 years. And I'll tell you something that you ain't gonna believe. Bragging a little bit. But I was the fastest man driving nails that's ever been in the Graston pallet company. But now I drove them for 10 years. And they just put the pallet out. And then he bought a machine to drive the nails. You just put the boards on there and send them in through the machine and it nailed them. And of course that put me in a job. Well, I see, I was driving nails by the piece, you know. I got paid, well, not a rice mark more, but more than probably double of what they was getting, $1 an hour. I don't even know, but I was probably making $2 an hour. But when this happened, of course, that, like I say, I went out on a farm, worked on a farm for a while. It wasn't a farm, just, I don't know. What they did was fox hunt. And they had 4 or 5 old horses out there, and you had to dress them down and feed them and exercise them and all that. Well, you know what to do to a horse. Then I went to work for Henry Gilbert,
At the John Deere place?
John Deere place. Butch was the boss, and I worked for Butch. Well, I don't reckon you ever done no work for farmers, but boy, they the tightest people in the world. Of course, they have to be. Anyway, this one time, especially, some man called and would need his tractor wouldn't start, and Butch said, "I'll send a man up there." And he said, "You go send the man right up there?" Now I was right there listening to him talk. And he said, "As soon as he puts his toolbox in the truck." And so he told me, he said, "Stop by," whatever his name was, "and look at that old tractor. That was on the way to where I was going." I knew right then I was in trouble, but Butch was the boss. So I stopped there. He vowed, like I said, wasn't none of them trusted. So he said, "Just set them so you'll run. That's all I want. I want this gets placed up there before it rains." I said, "All right." So I got the toolbox and went through them, got it running. Of course, that made me an hour late. When I got up there, I was trying to think of this man. I know this man, he had a little dairy farm. Well, anyway, he was mad on a wet hen. I thought he was going to fight me. I worked for the school for 30 years. Retired.
What'd you do at the school?
Maintenance, all kinds of maintenance work.
For what school?
All the schools.
All the orange schools.
Yeah.
You had a junkyard too, right? So you
Yeah.
had a towing company, you had a junkyard, you had a garage, and then he worked a full-time job on top of that.
Well, see, I bought, this was the start there.
Okay.
I was working for the school. And of course I was buying stuff, I was purchasing it. And I bought stuff from Cedric. Where I lived was 6 acres to start with. And there was a pipeline running right through it. Well, nobody wanted it because of that pipeline. They were scared it was going to blow up, So,
Transco.
yeah. So, it was right on the road, and I got to thinking about it. If I could buy that right cheap from him, no pay nothing down, just $5 a week or whatever, and I could buy the material from him, everything I needed to build a house. And I had 2 brothers who would help me, which they did. And that's what happened. I talked to him about buying a piece of land on top, and he said, "Yeah, I'll do that." And he had a dozer, which I bought later on, and after he wore it out, and he dug my basement, and my 2 brothers, they laid all the brick. It was block and brick on the outside. And of course I done all the carpenter work, I could do that. And built the house, and I finally paid them off for the land and the material. I bought cars, junk cars, wrecked cars, cars that wouldn't run. I had a record, I could pick them up anywhere, and I'd buy them for practically nothing and bring them to my place and park them. And then if you had a car the same model as one I had, and your alternator went bad, instead of you going paying $40 for a new alternator, you come to me, I'd put it on for you for $20. I guarantee it, that's like you guarantee you wherever you bought it. And then I'd sell everything off of them I could sell, and there was a guy in Charlottesville that would come and crush your car. and take it to Richmond and sell it for junk. Well, then China decided to buy every bit of junk in the country, and price went sky high. Well, that suited me fine. And bragging a little bit, but if I become a rich man, couldn't read and write hardly, but I knew how to make it a dollar. And I knew how to hold on to it.
What was the words on your tow truck?
Cheapest hooker in town. And I was. But,
Did you get in trouble for that?
well, yeah, there was some talk about it a few times, but never did do anything about it.
So when did you meet your wife?
I was working. My brother was married, and I stayed with him and his wife. They didn't have any children, but they went to work real early. I was working for Grass to Paddock under them, and I didn't go to work till 8 o'clock. And I'd go by this restaurant and eat breakfast. And my wife, well, her and her husband owned this restaurant, and she worked there. And of course, we got to talking, and
That's how you met?
that's how I met.
So she was already married,
She was already married and had a boy.
but she caught your eye and you caught hers.
There, you're right. She was a pretty woman. And I was a young, not a man, but a young boy. And thought I knew everything in the world. But, of course, we got married.
Did you all have children?
Yeah. I got 3 girls, 1 boy. My boy just died here
Last year.
last year.
Did you race cars?
Yeah.
Oh, tell me about that.
Well, Ray Payne, I don't know if you know Ray Payne or not, he's run the service station here, or used to. He's dead now. He bought an old race car, and he wouldn't run. And he bought it, called me, and I come from up and got it, took it down to my place, and fooled with it, and got it running pretty good. And a guy named Earl Dodson, they had built a racetrack at Unionville. It never did mount to hold us, but they run a few races down there. He was a mechanic, like me. And we had this old car, Ray Payne's, down in Unionville, trying it out, see if we get it run. And some guy came down there, and he said, they're racing over at Hilltop. Why don't you take it over there? You can try that over there. So I told Earl, I said, I'd never drove no race car. I said, I'll drive it if you take it over there. And he said, I'll take it over, but now I ain't driving it, I'll tell you that. I said, I'll drive it. And won the race. So that done it. Next thing you know, I done bought me a car. But I bought a good car, a car that would run. See, we had a deal. Some of these racetracks would give us $100 extra if we let them put in the paper that they were going to bring my car to that track. And, Bus Knighton was pulling the car. He had a van, he pulled the car. And we got mixed up some way or another. And he went to Ruckersville. They was racing, and they promised him $100 at Ruckersville. So he thought that's where I'd go, you know. But I went to Manassas, thinking they took the car to Manassas. And I got down there, I didn't have no car. John Strickland drove my car. And he drove it too, right in the ground. He turned it over half a dozen times, end over end. And they put it on a dump truck and brought it to Bus Nights there, and he was one Tony car. I was delivering papers too. I delivered papers, Richmond Times Dispatch. And I come by Sunday morning there with my car, and tore all to pieces. That was a heartbreaker, but of course I took the motor out and you put that another body. I never won no big races.
No.
I never did drive in no big races.
Did you ever win any money?
Yeah, couple $100, you know. Well, she was a baby, and you know, and she loved these car shows, truck shows, you know.
A girl did?
Mm-hmm.
She was a girl, but she loved them. So I said, well, and she honest to God done more for me, which is what she does right now. Takes care of everything, all these bills and everything. But anyway, I said, I'm gonna build her a truck to show. And I found one in Fredericksburg, 53 Chevrolet. And a man told me, put a paint job on her, she's ready to go. And I said, okay. I said, don't sell it, I'm gonna come and get it, that's what I want. Okay. Man, when I got down there, you ain't never seen no such piece of junk in your life. But I done told the man I'd take it, so I took it. Brought it back home. I bought a new Chevrolet at Manassas. In it to sale.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot, I didn't have very little mileage on it. And I put that motor in it. And of course I had to put a transmission in it because I couldn't hook that old transmission wasn't going to hook to that big motor. Then I had to put a ray ends in it. I had to build that. And I put the whole stern and everything in it, column. It's a beautiful truck. She's got a whole garage full of trophies she wants. She took it to, that really done me more good than anything else. She carried it to a car show. #1 trophy.
What did you do for fun? When you weren't working, what did you like to do?
Fish. I hunted some, when I was a kid especially. But I never killed a deer in my life. I guess striper was the biggest. We used to fight down at Smith Mountain Lake. We fished for the stripers, you know.
So what was your biggest striper? How many pounds?
23 pounds. I broke my neck in a motorcycle accident, and it crushed it. And they told me that where they operate on it, and they got rods in there. It still hurts like crazy.
Mm. When did you have the motorcycle accident?
Oh God.
Tell me about that.
I was just a young man. It's a pipeline go through my place. And my boy now, I wasn't racing. Oh well, yes I was, racing him. But I mean I wasn't racing on no track. And I lived there all these years. And this is right in the back of my house. And we was on that pipeline. He had some kind of old bicycle, motorcycle. And I had a BSA. And of course, I just breezed right on by him, you know. And there's, down at the end of it, it's a road goes in there, and it's a fence, wire fence, woven wire they call it, you know. You know. So I just blew by him like flying. And I hit that fence running, they said 90 miles an hour. It broke my jaw, knocked 7 of my teeth out, cut my tongue off. Oh, he told me all to pieces. Broke my shoulder. broke my neck. That's the worst part of it. And they took me, of course, took me to the hospital. And I stayed in there, I don't know. But I didn't stay as long as you think. About 2 weeks I.
Boy, it's a miracle you're alive.
Well, a friend of mine told me, he said, you ain't never done nothing right or good in your life. And he said, that's why the Lord's keeping you here, hoping you'll do something right. I said, I'm good. He said, then they're going to take you away. My wife got sick. We've been married, I don't know, maybe a year and a half, and she got sick. Well, I really don't know how long she was sick, but she was sick a long time. In the hospital, out of the hospital, in the nursing home, out of the nursing home, and finally, they thought they had the thing. She had a tumor on the brain, and they thought they had it fixed, But then it lasted about a year and a half. Then she got sick again. And it was just one thing right after another. And she was just as healthy a woman as you ever seen when I married her. But it didn't work out. I've always heard if you steal something, it ain't gonna work for you, but she was sick, and she died. She's been dead for 20 years. Well, I love my wife, but I love racing too. And I had some good times racing. Of course, I had some good times with my wife too. I always felt like I got cheated though. But she was sick all the time. And I mean, I don't mean just a headache, I'm talking about being in the bed sometimes.